Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to What's Not Sport Pulse Check. We're here on episode 43. You get a bonus episode this week. Episode 44 will be dropping Thursday morning. It's our Inside Story episode. It's our first of 8 of the 8 and 80 challenge, and it's with none other than Owen Paddy. So I really encourage you guys to hop on and watch that when that comes on. Today, we got a few things to have a look at. Obviously, we got to cover the Rugby League, the Pacific Championships, uh, as well as then having a look at um, the Rugby League Ashes. We then will have another look at the clubbies, and that will wrap us up for today. So we'll dive straight into the Rugby League Pacific Champions and Pacific Championships, I should say. And it was actually a really good for um, this week in the championships. It actually, I guess it's called the Pacific Championships, the Cup and the Bowl. So the Cup is between the Kiwis, Samoa, and Tonga, and the Bowl's between Fiji, Cook Islands, and PNG. It's been a very good expedition, I would say. Um, the Pacific Bowl is definitely getting stronger, with probably the team struggling the most is the Cook Islands. They're improving a lot more that we've seen. And yeah, it's been really good. So we move into the last week now, but before we go into that, we'll have our recap. So on Saturday, we had Papua New Guinea versus the Cook Islands. PNG took the dub. I thought that Papua New Guinea would have, I guess, a more dominant performance over the Cook Islands, but the Cook Islands are really, because the Cook Islands didn't have that good of a performance against Fiji, and I actually thought Papua New Guinea would be a much, far stronger team. We saw that the Cook Islands started to gel a lot better together in that team. They played a lot more flowing footy. Papua New Guinea were just too good. The buzzer went, and the Cook Islanders were down by 6 points, and it looked like they were going to potentially get through, score a try, but PNG intercepted and scored with a final try under the post and converted it to win by 12 points. So that puts the Cook Islands, I guess, they're done for the Pacific Championships and the Pacific Bowl. So they've got the bye this week, and based on the points, they won't be playing. But in their defense, they actually had a far better game that they did against Fiji, and it's good to see that they are an improving side. PNG, I believe, needs to continue to show that they've got good form. So this will be a real challenge next week against Fiji, where PNG will really have to. Well, they should win, especially with the PNG Chiefs coming in 2028 to the NRL. Let's move on to the Pacific Cup game. It was Tonga versus Samoa this week, and I got to go to this game, and this game was super fun. I'm so glad that I actually went down to Suncorp. I watched the Gillaroos versus Samoa before. The Gillaroos put an absolute clinic on 60-0. Some incredible skills by the girls. Absolutely enjoyed it and loved it for life. I thought this game would be a bit more closer in the Samoa versus Tonga game, just because the last time we saw it, they were more of an even team. Now, it was Kiwis on top, and then probably Samoa and Tonga pretty equal. I believe Samoa has now really taken that step up against the Kiwis. We saw that last week when they played. You know my thoughts on that. I thought Samoa should have beaten the Kiwis and they just got a bit unlucky there. But they really put on a really good performance against Tonga. The game, we had 60 minutes of awesomeness, like Samoa being just so strong, keeping the Tongas at bay. And then the 60th minute of the second half, the game gets delayed for about an hour, hour and a half due to lightning and a storm. There was hail on the field. It was insane. They then came back and Samoa just put put the pressure on the throat. Tonga did get in for a try, but it was not enough. The final score was let me have a look. Was 34-6. So like yeah, it was pretty dominated by Samoa. Nanai had a good day out, scoring a double. But yeah, the Samoans were just way too strong for him. So, but we'll see what happens next week. See if Tonga, because that was their first game of the championships. See if they gel a little bit better next week against the Kiwis. That could be a very interesting game. Fingers crossed. So now let's have a look at next week. We've got PNG versus Fiji. I'm going to back PNG to win this one and take out the Pacific Bowl. And then we got Tonga versus the Kiwis. I really want Tonga to have a good game, but I think the Kiwis might just be too good for them next week. So, but we'll see. Now, let's dive into the Ashes game. We had Ashes game 1 on Saturday night at 11:30 Queensland time. I woke up, watched a little bit before I fell back asleep. The first half, the Aussies struggled quite a bit to really gel together, is what I thought. Having Isaiah Yeo, I think it was in like the first 10 or 15 minutes that he got sent to the head assessment bin, had a HIA and then didn't return. There is worries about him. We don't think he will play the next game of the Ashes, but hopefully he'll be back for game 3. It was 8-0 at halftime. Now that, for one, that's not bad for the Pommies. They played quite well to defend that, but Australia just didn't gel too well. It wasn't until the second half where we really opened up. Now, on this, I just want to have a look on my stats that I've got lined up here. Yeah. So there were 4 tries. So the halftime score was 8-0. Making Australia made a lot more errors than the Pommies, but they could actually execute on scoring tries. Reece Walsh really had a good game, scoring a double, same as Angus Crichton, the only 2 players to score. They both scored doubles. It was the second half, Reece Walsh kind of just started to open up, really put on a clinic by the whole team, just working really well together and flowing. I think we'll see a lot more of that in the next game. I think the Pommies need to go back and reevaluate, move AJ Brimson from 18-man to your fullback. I know there's a lot of collision in that halves, and potentially bringing another playmaker can stuff that up even more. But on the flip side, maybe it's what they need, and AJ Brimson could be the key to helping out the halves and unlocking Herbie Farnworth. We didn't see enough of Herbie getting dirty, I guess. Well, by dirty, I mean like getting involved a lot more than what he wasn't getting involved as much as what he would have or what we know him to be. He's one of the best centers in our game. I would say top 3, maybe definitely in the top 5, up there, potentially in the top 3. I know he got injured mid to late NRL season, but he should have been a lot more active in that. We didn't get to see that. Maybe that is because the halves not helping him out that much. I think AJ Brimson could be the key to getting that ball rolling and being a lot more threatening on that side with Herbie. But we will see what happens with that. But yeah, I just want to also note, while we're still on the topic of Ashes, and Rugby League, Reece Walsh, he hasn't lost a single game of rugby league since he drank the toilet water. Should we all be drinking toilet water? Is that what? No, I'm just joking, but like what I'm saying, it's just been clinic after clinic by Reece Walsh in all honesty, and he's the most informed rugby league player at the moment. Love him or hate him, he's doing good stuff on the field, and I really hope we see a bit more of that. Not just through this Ashes series, but I hope he continues on this form next season for Queensland's sake, at least. Now, in other rugby league news, there's a lot of talks about the NRL in 2027. Now, it looks like we go international with like 18 hours straight of rugby league, 9 games in one day to launch the rugby league season in 2027. So we kick off, I believe, in Vegas, and it would be 6 a.m. our time. So there would be 2 games in Vegas. There's a game in Miami, Dubai, France, south of France. Where else? Oh, sorry. Thought I was going to say, maybe just France, south of France and France, potentially, and then 2 games in London. So that would be absolutely insane. Rugby league for like 18 hours straight. The people would love that. There's a lot more things to come on. The game's really going international now. Let's see what interest happens in it, and let's see how it can compete against R360 when that launches next year. In other news, 2027, New Zealand looks like they're going to host a game of Origin. It'll be probably that neutral game, I would assume. So that would be very interesting to see the crowd turn out there, who they're going to go for. But that's just something to look forward to 2027, the year of international rugby league. Well, and I guess we got the World Cup in 2026, but that's all I've got to cover on rugby league at the moment. We're going to dive into a bit of clubbies content now. We got the Wanda Tradies to 5,000, which I didn't even really know that was on until I saw the results. We'll cover the results of that. And then we've got the Paul Macquarie, Bonnie Hills 7,000 happening this weekend. We'll dive into my predictions. That's going to be a pretty big one. There's quite a few turning out for this race. So let's dive in first into the Wanda Tradies Carnival. Let's start with our swim results, and we'll start with the men's. So in third place, Lachlan Warner from Newport. Second place was Will Bannister from Cronulla. And first place, probably the most, well, he has been one of the most informed swimmers for such a long time. But trying to make it in that Ironman space, not quite that pool space. It's Hayden Cotter. He took the win there. We've seen him win so many surf races. He really takes it to the likes of, can put it to the guys like Nick Sloan and Bailey Armstrong. They weren't there. But, yeah, Hayden Cotter got the win there. In the women's, in third place, it was Georgia Singleton, Northcliffe. Second place, Lana Rogers, Northcliffe as well. And then Katie Rees, young gun from Swansea Belmont, took out the swim there. In the men's, in third place was Chris King. In second place was Charlie Verco. In first place was Cruz McKee. Now, I think with Cruz McKee now, he is now at Mermaid Beach under the under the tutelage of Kai Hurst. I don't actually know if he's moved up to the Gold Coast. I haven't seen anything, or if he's still down Sydney ways. I'm not actually 100% sure on that, but we'll see. Women's board in third place, Lana Rogers on the podium again. Second place, Naomi Scott, clubmate. And in first place, Katie Rees again. So she took out the swim and board, first year 19, really putting it to that open girls. In the ski race in the men's, it was Charlie Verco in third. So getting on the podium again, Verco. Jackson Borg in second, and in first place was Sam Dodgen. I think I got that right, and he's from Redhead. I don't know much about him, but we'll have a look, see if he's lining up for next week. The women's third place, Naomi Scott, and then the 1-2 punch from Newport, Piper Harrison in second, and first, Gemma Smith. I don't think that's much of a surprise to anyone. And then the Ironman, we had third place, Jet Green Voca. I think this was a bit of a surprise to me. Haven't seen much of Jet Green before on the podium of that Open Iron final. Let's see if we see a bit more of him this summer. Second place, Charlie Verco, and first was Borgie getting it done for Newport. In the Iron Woman, in third place, Naomi Scott. Another podium result for her. In second place, Katie Rees. That's her third, well, her first second of the day, but her third podium. And in first place, Lana Rogers taking the win for Northcliffe. So that's the Wanda Tradies Carnival there. We'll wrap that up. And we're going to have a look at Bonnie Hills. Now, we had the series launch at Burleigh 5,000 a few weeks ago. We now head to a Bonnie Hills, which is now a 7,000 down near Port Macquarie. This will be exciting. We've got some big names lining up. And now the gold is out of the way. We get a lot more athletes from the Shaw and Partners Iron Series coming into the World Ocean Series. So we'll start with our swim, go onto the board, go into the ski, and finish with the irons and the mixed taplins. So here are my predictions for the swim. In third place, I think we see Ethan Callahan, the Slim Reaper, just find a wave or two, get him to that podium. We see how good he is at that iron in the Burleigh 5,000. Had a good performance at the gold. In second place, I think we see Joel Piper. Really explosive, this short stuff. I reckon this short stuff fits him really well. Real light on his feet. And in first place, can't go past Hayden Cotter. He just took it out at the Wanda Tradies. Let's see if he can do it again at Bonnie Hills. Now the women's third place, going with Sarah Locke from Newport. We know the caliber of her swimming, can easily get on that podium. But in saying that, that women's field has so much depth in this swim race. Second place, I'm going with Claudia Rose Slavin. She is, I think, maybe not doing the gold this year. Well, not doing the gold could help with, I guess, getting ready for the sprinting. And I think we see her on the podium. And I reckon Lily O'Sullivan will take the win out here. No Lani Pallister in this race. So could go either way. Like could go Naomi Scott, could go Lily O'Sullivan, could go Claudia Rose Slavin. Could win. There's so many people that could win this race now that there is no Lani Pallister racing it. So it'll be really interesting. It'll be a good, entertaining race. I'm just going off what I saw at the World Ocean Series at Burleigh and how Lily O'Sullivan was up the front in that swim and just missed the wave. So that's my thoughts. Let's move into the men's board. In third place, I got Corey Fletcher, one of the fastest board paddlers there is. So quick up the sand. But I think he gets beaten in second place by Zach Morris, two-time Aussie board champ. He will be on that podium. And in first place, I'm going with someone a bit different. He is a former Australian champion. Tex Dixon didn't have, I would say, the result he wanted from the Coolangatta Gold. We know him as a really good board paddler. Let's see if he can get it done at Bonnie Hills. The women's board race, in third place, I got Carla Papak. A huge result from her in the gold, coming second. We know she can paddle a board really well, so I'm expecting her up on this podium. Second place, Piper Harrison. She just, I think she's just such a versatile athlete in the fact that she's a former MVP winner. So if she wants to try and win that again for the World Ocean Series, she's going to have to get on the podium for the board race. And the winner, I reckon we see the pocket rocket Tiani Massey absolutely fly out and get the win here. Now let's move on to skis. I'm very, very boring picks for the men's, in all honesty. It's the three Olympians, the boys that were in the K4. In third place, I'm going Jean van der Westerhausen. He's at Mermaid. He didn't know how to jumpstart last season. He still got a pretty good result at Aussies. I believe he came fourth. I think he's only going to get better. Depending on what the surf is doing, I'm not 100% sure what the surf's going to be like. Could be dead flat. Could be 4 foot. Who knows? But I'm going to pick him as third. Second place, I reckon go see Jackson Collins get another second like he did at Burleigh. And K4 teammate Riley Fitz will take the win out there. In the women's, I think it's just going to be a podium of Jays. Third place, Jazzy Railwood. We've seen her win ski races before, been on the podium heaps of times. No shocker there. Third place. In second place, I reckon Jazzy Locke. We know how good she is as a ski paddler. Saw her at Aussies last season. I just think Janaea Massey will take the win out here. She really enjoys this World Ocean Series quick sprint formats, a little bit shorter than your traditional Aussies course. And we know how good she has been last season in the World Ocean Series. Let's move on into the irons. In the Ironman, third place, I've got Mitch Morris. So Mitch Morris didn't make series this year. We've heard a lot of big things about him. Didn't do the gold. So I reckon he's going to be nice and ready and fired up to go have a good crack up Bonnie Hills. I think we see him on the podium. Another person, Benny Carbs, opted out to not race in the Shore and Partners Series this year. Didn't do the trials, didn't do the gold. He really wants to go all in on the World Ocean Series again, try and win another car. I reckon he gets second and first. I think it just goes to the man, like the one who can do it all, Ali Day. We saw him last year go from a 4.5 hour race to a sub 10-minute race and win it only a month apart. 2 weeks later, from a 2.5 hour brutal race of Coolangatta Gold in its new format, do we see him do something similar and get the win at Bonnie Hills? I reckon we do. And that, no surprise. Shouldn't be a surprise to anyone, in all honesty. In the iron women's space, this was tricky because we seen at the trials, it was a different format. We saw some results I was surprised with. We saw at the gold how, well, there was a lot of shocks, I should say. Well, not shocks, but surprise in the gold. Now we're in the World Ocean Series. And the women's field, it's getting trickier and trickier to pick with each race because that field is just getting stronger and stronger every single time that they race, and it's making for our sport going great. So, look, I think in third place, we're going to see Charlotte Hart get on the podium here. She took out the trials. So she took out the trials in that M-shape race, that double M-shape. She came fourth in the gold. Now let's see how well her sprint's going, because she's covered those kind of two endurances, but that's a 30-minute enduro tour. It'd be 2.5 to 3 hours for her at the gold. That's a big difference. Do we see her have a good performance in this shorter one? I know she had a good result at Burleigh World Ocean Series a couple of weeks ago. I think it was a fourth as well, a fourth or fifth. So I think we see her break out on the podium. Second place, Tiani Massey. She bounced back from that gold race 2 weeks ago, after snapping a paddle, like getting a seventh in the series result of the Shore and Partners Iron Series results. Like, huge from being dead last. I just think she's one you got to always look out for, and she did so well at the Burleigh World Ocean Series. We know she's sprint ready as well. And then I think we see Lana Rogers take the win out here. She definitely didn't have the gold she wanted, but she's gone down to Wanda. She's gotten points. She went and won that iron race there. We see her coming out firing here at Bonnie Hills, and she'll take the win out here. Let's move on into the 6-person mixed taplins. Now, I'm going to be a bit boring again. We've only had 3 teams ever win a Taplin, and I'm going to stick with one of these teams. Third place, we see Alex Heads. Now, this is not a top saying that they're not going to win, but no Lani Pallister. I think that's a huge blow. Definitely now that you can choose any order you want for, like, if it's board, ski, swim, it doesn't matter who goes in what order. If it's a bloke goes first or one of the girls goes first. Like, I think having Lani Pallister, well, Lani Pallister is basically a cheat code for the game. She is just so good. Her not being there is now, I guess, even out the field a little bit, makes the race, which is always exciting, to going, okay, Alex might not win here. That's why I think they get third. Nothing to do wrong. They've got excellent swimmers. Don't get me wrong. They could still go out and win it, but I just think no Lani Pallister. I just don't think they get the win here. So that's third. Second place, I'm going Northcliffe. No Nick Sloan on the list. No Bailey Armstrong starting. But obviously Naomi Scott might probably, I would say, will be one of the swimmers. Lana Rogers on the board, maybe, or vice versa on the ski. Who knows? It could even be Naomi Scott on the ski. Like, this could be really interesting which way this goes. But you do have the likes of Riley Fitz, an Olympian. Jake Morris, he's been paddling really well. Like, he could be in that instead of Riley Fitz. Like, it'll be really interesting. And then first place, Burley. It's probably the club with the most depth at the moment, and a lot of good performing athletes right now. The only problem with it is that a lot of them, there's quite a few that are in that team that'll probably be only 1 or 2 people in that team that aren't Ironmen or Ironwomen. So that, and not quite specialists. So that'll be very interesting to see. But that's what I think we get for our results in the mixed Taplin this weekend at Bonnie Hills. I'll keep you guys updated on the social. So third place, Alex, second, Northcliffe, and first place, Burley. So that's that. In other news, let's move away from the surf sports perspective. Let's stay near the water, though. We spoke last week about how Molly O'Callaghan broke the 1 minute and 50 barrier for the 200-meter free short course and broke the world record. Well, in 7 days, she did it again, broke the 200-meter short course record again. Just insane. And now, this is, I'm going to link this back to what I was just talking about, the Alex Surf Club. This is so much of an advantage that they have. Lani Pallister just broke the long-standing record of Katie Ledecky of an 800-meter freestyle, the world record in the short course. That is just insane. That shows how well she's swimming at the moment. You go and you put her in a surf race, she's probably beaten all the blokes. Like, that is just insane. So, congratulations to you two. An incredible job. That's all I've got for the pod this week. If you want some merch and you're coming down to Bonnie Hills, let me know. I can bring some down. You can buy it off me down there. Make sure you tune in to this week's Inside Story with Owen Paddy. I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. We're in the works for a few more 880s coming up. Guests. I'm trying to get my finger in the pie and get a few more guests on. We really want to beat that challenge. If you've got any recommendations, leave them down in the comments. Today's only a 30-minute episode pod, so short and sharp. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you want me to improve on, and I'll see you guys on the beach at Bonnie Hills this week. Cheers.